Yeah, Loot, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been streaming on and off for like 7 years, and this is the most busy my streams have ever been. So, oh, I have to get rid of that sub goal. It's no longer valid. I gotta make a new one. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get it by the end of the month, so not happening. Just testing everything still. Hi everyone. I'm a little bit early. Hope you can all hear me. Hope that's fine. Uh, no. Just testing all my screens. Anyway, hi. How's everyone doing? I am doing pretty good. I need like a background for this. Oh, no. Hide with you. You will not be here, cursed thing. Well, I guess I can actually just move the model a little. Yeah, that's better. Okay, perfect. So yeah. Um, don't worry too much about like if your stream is. Oh my god, they're doing it again. I have been live for I would say 20 seconds, but I've actually been technically live for like 20 minutes. But you could have done it while you were waiting for me. What is wrong with you people? Always howling in my chats. Always howling in my chat. There are plenty of amazing, wonderful Wolf Girl and Wolf Boy streamers out there. You can go howl all you want in their chats, but you just have to come here to the pink blob. Yeah, I see a pink blob and I'm like, yeah, I want to howl at that. I don't even look like the moon. If I look like the moon, I could at least get it. But I'm just me. Luke. Hey, DJ, welcome, welcome. Yes, I am. I have a lot of partners in stream today. It's wonderful. I got Nova, I got TJ, I got Rarity. Man, I got like all the partners. No Twitch partners though, I think. Nobody here's a Twitch partner and didn't tell me, right? That'd be awfully scazzy. Oh my god, you're still howling. I thought we could change the subject. Ah! Okay. Man, I really, really should like upgrade this model a little. I just don't know how to like reanimate this stuff to make it like better. Not right now. And my model crashed. Dang it. Oh, we're back. Ha ha. Aw, those are super cute, Loot. I love those emotes. Steals them for my own custom set that I'm going to make of me and my headmates. And puts them in a box labeled projects I will never do. Okay, we're good. Okay, so yeah, we're still letting stuff charge. It's being a little slow right now. I'll probably do it at like 45% rather than 50, just because it's taking forever and I am bored and I want to play Pathfinder. I should boot Pathfinder actually. That would be a good idea. So anyone seen any good movies lately? I tried to watch modern movies and I got really sad because it was just boring. I used to love Marvel movies so much. I tried watching the new like Red Hulk one and it was literally 10 minutes in and I was just like I am so uninterested. Oh no, Loot, that's awful. Oh my gosh. TJ Poison Talons. It's Poison Talons in their back feet. Everyone knows that everyone knows that. Everyone knows platypus have like poisonous talons in their back feet. Okay, so I am so sorry, Loot. Sorry, I got ADHD there. I am so sorry to hear that. Models are not easy to make work. We're playing Pathfinder today, guys. Watch My Little Pony later. How long have you been waiting? Realistically, how long has it been? Did you give them money? How long have they kept you waiting? Okay, to be fair, no one works as fast as me, and my models are very simple, but... You better not bully the fucking streamer with howls. Oh, I hope things get better, Loot. Seriously. It sucks for things to not be okay. Okay, my model thinks my mouth is open way too much. Ah, 1 second. Look at the black screen. Look at the black screen and hope that it can hold your attention. You're looking at a black screen. Look at a black screen, hoping it will lose your mind. Holding the black screen where I fix my model super fast. I don't want you all to see my settings, 'cause it's kinda like breaking the fourth wall. So I'm taking a second and fixing my model while you all do your thing. And even if I wouldn't know what I could say, I think that I'm losing my mind. Okay, let's get back to it. Now it should be a little better, 'cause now it should be a little smoother. And that should make it pretty wonderful. I'm just testing it. Okay, yeah, that's good enough for me. I'm back, and I gave you a wonderful song while I was away. It wasn't wonderful. It was pretty awful. Oh, that's just like a slower close now. No, that's worse. Oh, fuck. Nope, that's embarrassing. Ah, ah. So maybe in, 2? Ah. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay. That'll have to do for now. I'm not gonna futz with it anymore today. Y'all. 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 It tied. It tied. It tied. And you are breaking your own rules. You're breaking your own rules by ignoring the poll. You can at least do it if you... Yeah. Aya did not fucking vote for a Howl. She doesn't get a vote. She's not here right now. Only I am here. She doesn't get a vote. I am the dictator of this land, and I declare no howls for Aya. Ave Maria. Anyway, what was I doing? I was doing something. Oh, we were gonna play Pathfinder. Right, I got totally distracted. Ooh, that's loud. That's very loud. Ah. Okay. Alright, let's switch over to the game. That doesn't look like a game. That looks like a black screen. Ah, there it is. That's the game. Oh my gosh. Fine. Alright, Loot. Ew. There, you get 2. Just because I thought the first one was kind of garbage, but I think the second one was actually worse, but, we're gonna roll with that. Okay, so just turning on my monitor on my mobile dashboard. It is 4:55, 5 minutes before we're actually supposed to start streaming. I should just hang out with you guys for like the first 30 minutes. Because I have to sit here with my like all my sound off on my computer anyway, because like tracking all that shit is really annoying. So it's so boring. So if I did that, Luke, you can't compliment me. That's illegal. Heck. My word. I will tour later. I am just looking at the chat. Oh, that's my voice. No. I don't want to hear my voice. Alright, we're caught up. Okay. Yeah. Let us resume Pathfinder. it a second. Give it a second. Yeah, it just fixes it. Oh, wait. I have an idea. I have an idea. If this is the fucking issue, I'm gonna... This is... I mean, it's better now than it was, but that's gonna be much harder to deal with. Yeah, I need that fucking phone stand that got ordered to come in, basically. Cause I don't actually have a way to hold my phone up that is, like, close enough to read, but far enough away from... Because, like, the thing is, I think it is actually picking up the signal off of my phone. I think that's what's happening. It's picking up, like, the radio signal, that, like, comes off of Bluetooth or whatever. Wait, Bluetooth is off. Mobile data? Verity, I know you told me that, but there's no, like, solution. The shorter cables severely reduced the issue. It was two parts, Rarity. It was the cable and it was the phone placement. Because the longer cable works like an antenna and picks up the signal more effectively. Therefore, it was worse. That's why it stops on its own now without me futzing with it. Because I don't need to go waggle the daggle to make it, like, work. But, yeah, you were partially right. But I don't really have a solution to that. Because I don't have a phone stand. I need a stand for my phone. I'm not snapping at you. That's so rude to say. You can't claim that. Oh, there's an ad breaking coming, guys. I think I'll start after the ad break. I think everyone here is subscribed except Loot because she wasn't here for the massive deluge, like, gift sub thing that a couple friends did. I do not want to snap at anyone. That is not the thing that I do. I do not snap at people. That is not what I like to do. But yes, for those of you who are going to be playing Pathfinder with me, you may actually learn something looking at the sheets. It's a completely different format, but... yeah. I have permitted the term hoe. Okay, I will bark for 10 gifted subs, not a $10 tip. Difference. I will be barking for 10 gifted. I will not howl. And it's for 10 gifted, not 10 bucks. Yeah, I agreed to gifted subs. I didn't agree to barks. I'm not a cheap bitch. I did not. Roll the footage. I guess I am. I would not lie. I hold to my word that if I get the 10 gifted, I will do it. All you need to do is get to the 100 gifted, and then okay, alright. Just the 100 gifted subs, and I will bark. I promise. Don't worry, guys. It's only 1,000 gifted subs. It's possible. Okay, it was 10. I'm sorry. I'm being a little garbage monster. Go ahead. I said 10 gifted subs. I wouldn't do it for 10 bucks. Yeah, it's 10. I was being a little shit. I said 10 gifted. I wouldn't do it for 10 bucks. I don't even have a tip jar that works. You can't even give me money directly. The only thing I can accept is bits and subs. So I would only do it for bits and subs. I know, right? I'm so cruel. Why is my phone trying to go into sleep mode? That's very bad. I need it on at all times. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Robertson. No! Oh, heck. We lost her. We lost her. Alright, we're gonna have to put up with a screamy mic on occasion, I think. Just because I have nowhere to put this phone, and it needs to go somewhere where I can One second, guys. It appears that I'm being invaded. No, Macy did not invade. I stopped streaming when my partner, like, live-in comes in, because I can't stream around people. It just makes me very uncomfortable to stream with someone else in the room. One of the kids decided to come and knock on the door because she's bored. Um, I sent her away. But anyway, hello! Welcome, welcome. Uh, to me, because no one else is here. Also, Rarity, did you did you ban Bend Over? Do you think I'd care about Bend Over? Oh wait, I might. I'm supposed to be PG-13. Well, I allowed Ho, and Bend Over Backwards is technically a good term. And also, let's play the game. Let's play the game. So I'm gonna be reading through the dialogue and stuff. I just finished. Oh wait, we had a lot more to talk to Lan with. We only did this, and it took 45 fucking minutes. I wonder why the dialogue is so long. My word. Alright, so, yeah, back to Lan. This is my character, Petal the Brave. Whatever! Stop caring about it so much. Jeez. Alright, so... Lan goes...
What brings you here?
I'd actually like you to tell me about your people.
Of course. What would you like to know?
What's it like living in your caves?
Oh!
Lan gives you a broad smile. His smile is strange, as if it falters where his human features meet his animal ones.
I imagine that in the entire world there's only a few... Or imagine that in the entire world there's only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere, nowhere to grow grain for bread, or cotton for linen, and linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae, and then eat you. And it's not so bad, because you try and eat most of the things they're trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days.
Lan shrugs.
But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. There's no risk of losing a roof over your head. There's no bad weather, not counting for the earthquakes, of course.
Welcome, welcome. Anyway, so are you really the descendants of the first Crusaders? That's kind of like wild, isn't it?
More like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the world wound that affected our ancestors and made their children the way we are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Soul fancies himself a descendant of the Underground Crusaders, the ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. That angel came to save came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us? Those were evil and dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't. So, our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there, underground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the World Wound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Mongrel parents can only guess what their child will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation. Many mutations are fatal.
Lan stops, then goes on quietly.
Down in the caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There's no point.
Oh, the I'm Rich redeem just shows off that you have a lot of petals. It doesn't do anything. It just shows off how wealthy you are and how well you saved. Anthropologist Margaret Mead had an affair with anthrolinguist and Edward Sapir during her first marriage. Why did she leave him? I got no idea. Something about... I was gonna make some kind of bone pun, but I don't have it. I'm sorry. I was gonna make some pun about bones, because... You know... A lot of dead people in ancient cities and whatnot. No! My model! Is my model back? Yay! My model's back! Ha ha ha! Okay. So... She for the streets, that's why. Amazing. It hasn't been that long since the First Crusade. Why do you know so little about your ancestors?
Our lives are much shorter than most uplanders. Up here, only a few generations passed. But many still live who remember old Sikoris as it stood untouched by the demons. Queen Galfrey, for example. Where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans. Much faster. And with more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers than time.
She left him because he was misogynistic and wanted to take a traditional marriage role. Instead, she went to Samoa for her research, and she found out he got married. She burned their letters on the beaches of Samoa. Yeah, that checks out.
So, for us, the story of the First Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have a tale of wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard in the catacombs. But in reality, I suspect they were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague and who were abandoned by their own kind.
Knowledge! Okay. I need a drink. I need to get my drink. I'm thirsty. Land's voice makes me thirsty. Land makes me thirsty. What? Okay. Anyway. I didn't say anything. Delicious. Little bit of drink. Little bit of soda in my life. Yeah, you got a free hydrate because I was thirsty. Okay. Do you have a way to tell day and night? You can't see the sun in your caves.
Every mongrel settlement has a big gong. We treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and end. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child has snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it. Not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So, sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones. The tribe can find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night.
Oh my gosh. Luke! Thank you. You're very kind. Do Mongol tribes fight each other?
There were some skirmishes, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before, too.
Lan speaks in a steady voice.
Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the cave, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect each other's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge.
No, y'all are not howling again in my chat.
I've never you can count on that, or never you can count on that stolen someone else's kill. But I can understand those of my kin who've tried. To hear your kids begging for food and not be able to feed them is terrifying.
He frowns and goes silent. You're the only member of Neathholm who call your people mongrels. Why is that?
Because all of Galarian calls us that? I don't see a point in all this hemming or hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them, but personally, I'm not going to pick a fight over something unimportant as a name.
Thank you. I found out everything I wanted to know about your mongrel friends.
It's nice to know my ramblings seem useful to somebody.
So, what do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life underground.
Of course. As far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house, and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't even have to deal with anything scarier than rats, or maybe foxes stealing chickens.
Oh! Here you go, Loot. Hada hada. No, is that? I had a voice crack. One more. Hada hada. There you go. That's a better one. Okay.
As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. But there were some brave Crusader Knights nearby, and they killed the villains and saved everyone. And I heard another story about a... And I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire, couldn't do work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road, but there were some brave Crusader Knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Holy shit. Wow.
Holy fuck. That's sad. Oh my god.
Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons, then look the other way while the same innocent starves just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfred prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We won't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of a tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less.
You can type !Discord to find my Discord server.
Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do.
I'm gonna be honest, I'd never leave a needy person in trouble. I've given more than at most, which means I'm now more able to... I've been given more than most, which means I'm more able to help others.
Fitting reply. Don't take my words as reproach. I like grumbling as much as cracking jokes.
Lan is obviously trying to muster a friendly smile, but it's an expression his face doesn't accommodate very naturally. You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something meaningful. What exactly did you mean?
To invent a new salad and have it named after me.
Lan remarks grimly. Then he sighs.
Truth be told, I don't know. It'd be easier if all I really wanted was to kill demons. Then a few more demons. Then more demons after that. Good honest rage can no needless... Good honest rage and no needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life's taught me anything, it's that there are no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusades did that and also saved entire settlements, erected ward stones. Their actions kept the lands of Mendeb safe for decades. That's what I want. For my dumb, short life to have meant something.
Ooh, bad life advice. Okay, so what you have to do is you get some plastic cellophane wrap and you get your hands on a baby. I'm gonna stop here because I have been censored by the FDA. I saw the poll. Y'all are on thin ice. Anyway, thank you for your answers. So long. Man, he had a lot to say. Pink Eye?
Just listen to this woman. Isn't it amazing how such nonsense can fit in such a small package?
So, Indara? An imposing young Oriate is surrounded by crusaders who are hanging on her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Gistka legionaries from the last war and the Crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine. Not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now then, tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assaults where everyone is fighting for their own ego and right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice? Some of the Crusaders grumble unhappily, but it's clear they're captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scraggly, disheveled halfling monk whose puffy black eye gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. It looks like we've got ourselves a student of warfare. Why did you clip the voice crack, our Why? The woman gives you a suspicious look and raises an eyebrow. Were your words meant to recognize my achievements or start a fight the way Mendevian crusaders usually do? One of the crusaders angrily curls his fist tightly and retorts in a burst of passion. If those gists of yours or whatever had come for us, we'd have their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty military adversary before? The soldier's stern facade cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy the confrontation. The crusaders around him look upon their exotic opponent with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot-tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries the siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know these fortifications were defended by Giskan priest craftsmen armed with demon-bound war machines. They used enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. Or they used enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. The woman gives the people around her a triumphant look and adjusts her clothes with pointed nonchalance. Her voice takes on a lecturer's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? Who do you think you are? I am Indara, a warrior, magus, scholar of classical warfare from Garand. The woman peers at you apprehensively and then sighs. I admit that I am mildly offended by the fact my name is entirely unfamiliar to you, but I'm willing to accept that this is due to Avastan's isolation from the sophisticated culture of the world at large. My voice, my tongue is betraying me. This lady's fucking word choice is the worst, and I hate it. Her word choice is awful, and it's very hard to keep up with. Don't you make me bald. Don't you redeem bald. I don't even know if bald works right now, actually. Okay, you've come a long way to be here. I like to think of myself as an inhabitant of Golarion, and I don't narrowly identify with any country in particular. Why did you come here? To witness a legendary war. I gotta give her a new voice. The confrontation between the denizens of a plane famous for its love of violence and the crusaders from every continent, united by the common goal of defending their home. An epic struggle of colossal proportions. Hasn't been particularly epic so far, truth be told. The monk with the black eye mutters under his breath.
Maybe she just can't see it from here. The view will get way more epic if she stops hiding among us and takes a walk outside.
I'm okay, I'm just struggling with voice work. The woman smirks contemptuously. She does not deem the monk's words worthy of comment. It looks like you know more about warfare than any of us. Oh, am I hearing things, or did someone finally acknowledge my competence in the art of warfare? Perhaps there is a sufficiently open-minded person among the Crusaders after all. I find myself pleasantly surprised. Why don't you join the Crusaders and show them how fighting should be done if you're so good at it? No, I am a historian, an analyst, a theorist. Do you know what these three words have in common? They describe a mortal woman who does not participate in the conflict upon which her thesis will be founded. But then again, I will hardly be able to describe this mess as anything other than a feeble likeness of the last war of Jistka. Yay! There you go. Yay! Okay. The monk with the damaged eye grins slyly and comments.
The more dangerous the upcoming scuffle is, the more motivated we are to find clever and pretty words to justify not actually doing the fighting.
So, what's this last war you mentioned?
The last war of Jistka, of course, a large-scale conflict that took place 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. It was a war against the Orison Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues, the war that ended the legendary Jistka Imperium, an epic struggle that became the most vibrant page in military history. Alas, all conflicts that followed it were but a pale shadow, including the one I am witnessing here.
Well, why do you find the last war of Jisca so inspiring?
Imagine legions of golems imbued with extraplanar spirits marching into battle. Imagine flying cities that swoop out of the clouds like terrifying monstrous birds of prey to drop forces on top of enemy cities. Picture gigantic mechanisms powered by captive and very angry demons and devils. Imagine standing in the warpath of walking citadels, or having to cover your ears to block out the sounds of cannons loaded with shrieking elementals.
Cannons? Wait a minute. Guns are a new thing in this setting. How the hell are there cannons? Y'all, it's already hard enough to keep up with you.
Finally, imagine the ultimate weapon that defeated the Jistka, the deadly Night Plague. This affliction was an attack dog, a trained epidemic, a tamed pestilence, striking only those who its master wanted to kill. Imagine all these terrors to understand that no flight of fancy can even come close to the horror of the nightmares they made real.
How do you know so much about Jisca's last war?
I can say without false modesty, there is no more authoritative researcher on Galarian when it comes to the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. I dedicated my whole life to this subject. I personally visited all battlefields.
No, but that's the thing. She's saying this happened 3,000 years before today, right? Or before the foundation of Absalom, which was like 1,000 years ago. And there were cannons. Even though firearms technology is literally still flintlock. The most advanced thing you can find is a pepperbox pistol. We would have fully developed laser rifles in those thousands of years. Thank you very much. Okay, well, there was that nation that went to space, so you know what? Maybe comment rescinded. Yeah, I forgot about them.
I've personally visited old battlefields and studied the most mysterious and forbidden archives, containing chronicles of ancient wars, sometimes risking my life in the process. I saw a fallen sky city of the Shori Empire with my own eyes. I ripped out the control crystal from an exterminator-class combat golem. I guarded a Jiska laboratory with my own hands. These fingers held the glass flask that the servants of the pharaohs of the Forgotten Plagues used to create the first generation of pestilence that devastated the Jiska Imperium. How did I know so much? I saw and touched everything I am telling you about.
You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain.
A debate? Oh, I will be happy to prove the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Jiska. Very well. The last war of Jiska was waged using a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied plans, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Jiska, we are but stone club wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words from wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor to the Pharaoh of the Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here it is nevertheless. A gadfly sees the ox. An ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but the crimson fever takes them both.
This lady is the most insufferable person. All right, the events of the past are so shrouded in legend, but the events of the past are shrouded in legend. They happened so long ago. You've seen a lot, yeah, but generally, a lot of things can still be mired in misinformation campaigns, and you don't know how all of this worked. You've touched it, but have you used it? No, I don't think so. And beyond that, the fate of the world is being decided here and now. If we fail, everything is gone. That is what you seem to fail to grasp. The earnestness on the faces around you has taken away Indira's panache, recognizing her, or encouraging her to backtrack and stumble over her words. Of course, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of current events. What I am trying to say is from the standpoint of history, and particularly the history of warfare. She falls silent, fixedly staring on the unfriendly eyes of her audience.
The true importance of these developments won't become obvious until later.
Indra offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny there is a certain truth beneath your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline rooted in fact and an evidentiary base that grows more and ever more meager the farther the described period is from the present moment. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, the way the Crusaders embellished their tales of slaying a single Brimarak by adding a dozen Baelors, for example, I could win this debate. But I am above such things, and therefore I'm forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. So have you changed your mind about joining the Crusaders?
I don't see the point. You Crusaders appear quite confident in your skills. If nothing else, you've presented your arguments to me with extreme confidence.
Indira unbuckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also for the wise. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons use pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. But it is about time that I get back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indara's lips as she sees disappointment in the eyes of the many crusaders around her. Stay safe. My god, she was insufferable. Wow, that was an awful lady. You okay? Everyone else okay? Wow. That was a lot. Huh. Hey, Sela. Sela smiles at you warmly. Hey there! During that march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. I'd like to know more about you. Of course! Ask anything, I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb. A little bit from Katapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Iomade. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belonged to their ranks more than I belonged to any other place. You've come to Mendef by a long road, haven't you? A very long one. Sela looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have some amusing stories. Unfortunately, I only have 3 tales of any interest. I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with Chupacabras. Chupacabra. Okay, you can't tempt me with a story about fighting Chupacabras and not follow through. What are Chupacabras, by the way? Incredibly repulsive magical beasts. Fast and dangerous, they can, well, it looks like someone's fooled me into starting the tale. I guess now I'll have to tell the whole story. Picture a small town in Kadira, and down in the dungeon there's 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the rope's been bought, but sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly, a paladin of Iomade appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they'll live. If they survive, that is. There's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope. Wouldn't you say? So, here we are, traveling through the desert, me and my friend, a priestess of Sarenrae, along with a little rat fellow who'd asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the ratfolk village, and we see their bodies lying around, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how little the ratfolk described the monsters that attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high, and the vampires couldn't attack till dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the rat folk, and Kira, that was the name of the priestess, we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And then, just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabra sounding like a pack of dogs around a bear, our rat folk friend wounded and down, and the teeth of the quickest of those blasted monsters clenched on Kyra's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kira. I don't know, or I'm sure you know, what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead, one by one. The little rat folk is reunited with his family, who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. Shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in a journey to the afterlife. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead, he died a hero. Well, I expected a more cheerful story. Now I'm sad.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I like to remember that one. For me, it's a story about hope. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from some noose. And me, Kira, and the rat folk all dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the same token, an evil one done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's really what I wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point.
What made you become a paladin of Iomade? Are y'all fucking power scaling my system? Are y'all fucking power scaling my system right now? I am telling stories and y'all are power scaling my goddamn system. At least you're talking. Weirdos. Loot. I actually want to switch over to Linux at some point. But it's a lot of work. Sela's gaze sharpens momentarily, then she sighs. That's a serious question. And a good one. You should ask it to one of your, you should ask it to your companions. But it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin for a paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among the victims. People there heard about the new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of Knights of Iomade brought a glimmer of hope to the city. But while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and gleaming metal armor, wondering how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time. That's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. Sela pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Asemi was her name. Dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all those others she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Solku. That one blow was fatal, but who was really to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker or the young thief named Sela? Oh, man. That's sad. Y'all having fun being weird in my chat? Yeah, maybe Linux Mint eventually. That's an eventuality thing, though. Not right now, for sure. I know what it takes to survive sometimes. I can't judge you.
Well, I can. I believe everyone deserves a chance at redemption, but redemption means you understand what you did and are willing to be harder on yourself from now on. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of Iomede's warriors. We all chose the Paladin's path for our own reason. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by a desire to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized I wouldn't make the world any better. And I decided I would instead try to take her place. I'd become the hero who she had been, and protect innocents that would no longer be able to protect.
What are the principles the Paladins of Iomade follow? Sela smiles.
I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. Feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There's strength in those words.
After a pause, she begins, her voice low and meditative.
I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the Inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle, and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I'm fumbling so many words, Loot. That's so... heck. Ah. Also the tube of toothpaste. Tube of toothpaste clears. No death. Man, I have to keep hydrating myself, guys. Do I have to lower the cost to hydrate to like 50 to make you make me drink? Fuck, I'm thirsty. Okay. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give my honor to worthy enemies and my contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Iomede's perfection. Okay, now you hydrate me. I just did my drink. Heck. Thank you for the compliment, though, Lute. I do appreciate that. Thank you. I've learned everything I want to know. And I hope I didn't bore you. Ask me something else if you like. Irabeth said your friend Gianna Aldori is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Irabeth is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Jenna myself, so I didn't distract you, but you're in this too. I could use some help. Hydrate is out of stock? What? Do I have a timer on it, or do I have one a stream? Because I need to fix that. Jenna and I met in Kennebrus a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together, too. But we got separated in the crowd. So we should start looking in the main square. That's where I last saw her. Sela frowns. Janna's a good fighter, even if she is green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. What do you think of what's going on in Kennebrus? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Sela smiles brightly. Then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people and our protector Terendelev died here in Kennebrus. A paladin of Iomade is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. I will fix the hydrate for next time. And I will lower the price of hydrate so you guys can spam it more. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. It can undermine a warrior's spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultist from the city. My streams are always scuffed. That's my secret. I mean, if we want to win, we can't be mourning our deceased day and night. Plus, joy heals the soul. It's nice when you and your commander think alike. Sela smiles softly. Oh god! Oh no, they're using my sad motes. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones. Sela's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the World Wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the crusade is reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want it to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim, the war against the World Wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things. Ordinary misfortunes, you know?
Your streams were probably not trash. I wasn't there, but I don't think they could have been trash because you're not trash. Therefore, you know what? Blah. You're fine. Hydrate's never going to be 1 point. Hydrate at minimum is going to be 50. I always liked being a wandering knight because at any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't want some big important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Oh! I cannot believe that my own girlfriend would say this about Pathfinder. Thank you for speaking with me. Until next time. See ya! Alright, last 2 people. Helor! A tall, athletic man greets you. His hair is prematurely gray and is shorn close to his head in a military style. He's lean and well-groomed, and a monocle coldly twinkles in his eye. The bold set of his jaw and his large but agile frame attest that there is a man. Attest that here is a man who is always ready to be on the move. Why did you write that? I will make it happen. Need a voice for this guy. You know what?
Greetings, I am Helor, venture captain of the Pathfinder Society. I'm the superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the Society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there are almost no Pathfinders here, actually. I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spinner of Nightmares. And I've had to work alone, without the support of the Society. But I've made a lot of acquaintances to help.
Okay, not that voice. That one's hard. That tongue is so tonguey. Alright, fuck it. This one sounds the easiest to work with, so we're gonna do it. I've had to work alone without the support of the Society, but I've made a lot of acquaintances among local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for an honest cause, talk to me. Tell me about your confrontation with the Spinner of Nightmares. It all began with the task, the Pathfinder Society. I arrived in Nirasim with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous crusader, Baron Falloran. We soon focused in on a small hospital of the wealthy where Farron was being treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Baphomet's cultists calling themselves the Labyrinth of the Mind had gotten a foothold in the hospital. I accept that suggestion, for now. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted fragile people too weak to resist. And the hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless. And when they returned, they were different, almost normal, but the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark awoke within their mind. They transformed into servants of Baphomet, ready to lie, betray, and even kill. The Labyrinth of the Mind was preparing to infiltrate all the elite circles of Mendev, but Baron Falloran stopped them. Alright, drink time. How much for voice lessons? Oh my gosh. Loot. Heck. Okay, double hydrate. Okay, Rarity, you're done. Oh my god. There, fuck. Don't make me drink the entire 2 lit. Oh my god. Like, I mean, I can just work with you on some voice stuff. I'm happy to help. I know your situation isn't great, so I'm not gonna, like, ask you to... Oh my god, you spent so many points on hydrates, guys. I'm not gonna, like, ask you to, like, you know, shell out money for that sort of thing. If we could just, like, talk and work with it, because a lot of what I did was self-teaching, and I can sort of show you the methods that I used to get there. Then it's sort of on you to, like, pick it up, you know? But you can always practice with me. I'll never judge you. Happy to help. Okay. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted for... Oh, I did this bit. He was loyal to his oath and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. Another liquid. Another liquid. God damn it. More liquid. Ah. But, okay, I've had another drink. We opened and cleaned the city of Baphomet's pit of vipers. Their den was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies steep real from their minds into the world. They dreamt of horrible and forbidden things, and they fought like mad. We burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could. But the leaders of the cult were able to flee, and they were set upon revenge. Yes, Rarity? They abducted my daughter, Lori, who served under my command in the Pathfinder Society. They left me with a note full of tart insults, mockery, and sneers. From the note, I learned the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. A few months later, I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of the Mind. My hunt had begun, to get Lori back at any cost. Hiller grins his teeth with a bulldog determination. I already hydrated for your hydrate ones. I drank the liquids. I want to know more about you. And what exactly are you interested in? I'm a common Pathfinder. There are many others like me. Fate and my orders are what brought me to this land. I mean, how did you end up here? Okay, I'll have another drink. My fucking god. How many thousands of points does she have? Alright, one more and I'm undoing the fucking hydrate redeem. Y'all are like force feeding me. You're just hooking up the funnel at this point. I'm gonna put a fucking hydrate cap up. I was working on an assignment for the Pathfinder Society, and then a demon worshipper called the Spinner of Nightmares abducted my daughter Lori. For the past 3 years, I've been trying to save her. During this time, I've become a specialist in scouting demon territory. I've even planted agents among the cultists. Truth be told, in pursuing the Spinner of Nightmares, I've been acting more on behalf of Queen Galfrey than the Pathfinder Society. It's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you the rest of it sometime. Fuck, there's another hydrate. Ah, damn it. That one's valid, too. There's a timer. It's not out of stock. Alright, the timer stays. We are back to normal hydrates because I'm not going to drown myself for y'all. Hiller frowns grimly. The Spinner of Nightmares is a true spawn of the Abyss. I fought her many times, but never been able to seize her by the throat. Tell me about your daughter. Hiller smiles, showing his healthy white teeth. As a girl, Lori was just an angel. We lost her mother early on. She was left to follow my example, a drifter with little idea of how to talk to a 10-year-old girl. But even with such questionable parenting, Lori managed to grow into a wonderful girl. Smart, brave, beautiful, and entirely unbearable. She's always argued with me about everything. When Lori was 18, she told me about how she was going to be a Pathfinder, and all I said was, alright. I knew there was no use to try to talk her out of it, and she was a fine Pathfinder. Hiller's fist clenched with a painful sounding crack. I'll never forgive the Spinner of Nightmares for taking my girl from me. Oh, okay. That's a redeem. I'm clear my throat for you, so I can go, ew, ew. Okay. Tell me more about the Pathfinder Society. The Pathfinder Society is a global organization that unites opportunists and adventurers of all kinds. We explore the world and uncover its secrets, travel, and sometimes face down threats in times of trouble. The latter becomes our primary focus.
We're driven by curiosity and the desire to make the world a better place. And of course, some seek profit or hunger for glory. But in any case, it's hard work. I might send you to anywhere on a mission. Weaklings have little place in the society. It's more for seasoned fighters. There are society lodges in many cities, but closest one is in Nirison. They're rich and led by venture capitalist lads like me. The Grand Lodge is in Absalom, at the center of the world. Decemvirate sits there, the anonymous council of our leaders. What the hell are you doing in my chat? I need a spray bottle for y'all. My god. If you have any questions, come to me. No, I don't need new fighters. Good luck, watch your back. I'll make you trust your closest friends. The enemy is cunning and treacherous. Fuck, that was a bad accent. That came out so clumsy. Irabeth! Irabeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How's the city? What's our main objective again? You heard what that demon said. They're gonna desecrate the Wardstone and blow up the whole barrier around the World Wound. That would be an even worse disaster than the World Wound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Kenabris, but every city with a Wardstone will be destroyed, including the capital. We can't allow that, no matter what. We will retake it, even destroy it if we must. Iomede's gift must not become a weapon of the Abyss.
So, what are the Wardstones?
They are our greatest treasure. The shield given to us by Iomede herself, and placed in Kenabris and the other Mendevian cities and fortresses by her herald. The chain of Wardstones forms a protective barrier that stops the expansion of the World Wound, and keeps the demons from moving beyond the borders. I shudder to think of what will happen if the barrier fails.
Ah, can we talk about personal stuff?
Frowning a little bit, Irabeth nods. Please, but I must warn you, there are some things I don't have the right to discuss.
Where are you from?
I was born in Kenabris. I grew up on a farm just outside it. But my way back home lay at the end of a long and winding road. It took me years of traveling through foreign lands before I came to where I've always belonged.
How did you become a paladin?
A bitter smile appears on the half-orc's face. I don't much like to remember it, believe it or not. The story of how I became a paladin is also the story of how I failed to become a knight. My parents were crusaders. May their souls stand together in Iomede's celestial army. And when I was born, they retired from their war and started preparing me to continue their legacy. But my father was an orc. You'd be pressed to find a calmer, wiser, and more pious servant of the goddess than he, but still, all his life he was dogged by sideways looks and whispers. When I grew older and it was time for me to leave, I decided anywhere but Kenabris. That was where my father served loyally. Then his only reward had been injustice. Besides, the witch hunters, led by the honorable prelate Hulrun, stalked the city with a heavy hand. Who knows what they'd have done to a strange girl with green skin? Instead, I went to a smirk that looks more like a painful grimace crosses her face. You can laugh if you want, but I was young and foolish. I chose Lastwall of all places. You can imagine how well I was accepted in a country that had been battling the orcs of Belkson since its foundation.
We don't know if Bald will break the stream.
There were many like me there, but we were all... There were many there like me, but we were all treated as second-class citizens. To the locals, my green skin was worse than leper scabs. Even my brothers in faith kept their distance. I took my vows, and the goddess granted me the powers of a paladin. But even then, not a single order would accept me into their ranks. I spent 6 months knocking on doors before I realized a simple truth. I serve Iomede, not these people. I don't have to prostrate myself before them. So, I left as a paladin, but not a knight. It's probably hard for you as a human to imagine what it's like, but when the very color of your skin and the fangs in your mouth make people on the street turn their heel to avoid you, I mean no offense, of course. I thought she was going to. I thought there would be more to that sentence, so I was like leading up, but no, that was it.
I do use OBS Studio, yes. Oh no! Oh, my model broke. Oh, we're back. Haha! Auto fixed. I use OBS Studio, yes. Or I use traditional OBS. I don't use like Stream Elements or Streamlabs or anything. Just to clarify. How did the people of Kenabris feel about your background?
They tolerated it surprisingly well. I shouldn't have been so wary. Crusaders don't tend to be prejudiced as a rule. After all, heroes from all over the world, even from other continents, come here to fight the demons. Apparently, some people were only suspicious of full-blooded orcs. And there were many like me here, and we don't have any problems. Though the locals do have their superstitions, Mendev is as merciless as Lastwall. Just, they have a different set of victims.
Happy to help you anytime. This is like a pretty easy program, so I can absolutely help you, Loot.
I kept seeing those same sideways looks and scowls, hearing familiar...
Oh, all right. See you later, Nova. Have a wonderful have a wonderful night. I'll see you soon. Love you, honey.
I kept seeing those same sideways looks and scowls, hearing the familiar whispers, but where once they used to whisper behind my back and point at me, now they whisper in my ear, point at someone else. It's so strange to be on the other side of humiliation. To wipe spit from your face and suddenly be invited to change position and spit at someone else. You must have figured out now that I'm talking about tieflings. It's true there were many of them among cultists and few among our crusaders, and all our fighters do all they can to drive away those who would be our allies. And our fighters do all they can to drive away those who would be our allies. People shun them, call them a Relu spawn or worse, and if they choose to be born as if they choose to be born like that. I believe it's quite a feat to rise against the call of one's blood and join the forces of good. Still, I mostly see them as the enemy. Most only see them as the enemy. I once saw a knight bleeding to death because he wouldn't let a tiefling priest touch his wound. Alas, I haven't been able to change all this in my time in Kenabris.
How did you come to join a knightly order?
I left Lastwall and went traveling. The goddess guided me, and my path led me to where atrocities were happening. I often fought in exchange for gold, but never for unworthy aims, of course. I wandered into the river kingdoms for a few years, killing monsters and tracking down criminals. Sometimes I thought I was just wasting time, that my true place was back in Kenabris, but I pushed those thoughts away. I didn't even want to think about going back, but in the end, divine providence brought me back to my senses. It happened when I was in Timon, tracking down a gang of bandits, which my employer suspected was a cover for his Myrian spies. I managed to find their lair, but inside I found something far more dangerous than spies. An unholy temple to Zon Kuthan. When I broke in there, the cultists were about to sacrifice someone. The person who was destined to become my wife, Anivia. But that's another story. After I cut down the cultists, I examined their papers and couldn't believe my eyes. A network of evil cults had spread all throughout. My words are not coming to me. A network of evil cults had spread all through Avestan, including Mendev. Worse, the documents clearly showed their allies, clearly showed that their allies, the Templars of the the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth had invested my native Kenabris, and were even among the ranks of the Paladins. After that, delaying my homecoming would be tantamount to desertion. Luckily, I was no longer alone. Anivia was as eager to destroy the cultists as I was. Anivia and I hurried to Kenabris. We couldn't trust anyone. The papers indicated the cultists had infiltrated everything. Luckily, I had some experience in investigation, and my beloved, the half-elf smiles warmly. She knew her way around working locks, tailing people, and trading information with the city's bottom feeders. As soon as we defeated, alas, not the whole Hydra, but a few of its heads, do you know who turned out to be the leader of the cultists? The commander of the Eagle Watch. I am not adorable. You can't call me that. That's so cheap. That's cheating. Ah! Can you imagine? While Prelate Hulrun was chasing witches through the city, the enemy had infiltrated the very order responsible for internal security. The scandal reached the ears of the Queen. At first, she planned to disband the order in disgrace, but then she offered its command to me and put its salvation in my hands. Of course, there was one small catch. I wasn't a knight, but I was made commander just the same, skipping the usual progression through the ranks. I can't imagine the followers of Zon-Kuthon in alliance with demon worshippers. Don't they hate each other? They should, but Baphomet's minions are masters of deception. They manipulate Zon-Kuthon's butchers as easily as Iomede's knight. Sorry, I needed to reboot for a second. What the fuck, Rarity? Oh my god. I love you. You're crazy. I love you. They manipulate Zon-Kuthon's butchers as easily as Iomede's knights. The cultists from that unholy temple didn't know the true face of their associates in Kenabris. We ourselves learned the truth much later, after getting to the bottom of their nest. Tell me about Anivia. We met in Timon. As I was wandering aimlessly from one ordeal to the other. We returned to Kenabris together to expose the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth. The day the Queen knighted me was the second happiest day of my life. The first day was the day of our wedding. But Anivia isn't just my beloved. She's my staunchest ally. We share every victory and deceit. That best of me is alive thanks to her. Thank you for saving her back then. The day Kenabris fell, before her return, the only thing giving me the strength to protect the Defender's heart was the hope I'd see her again. We are in your debt. Thank you for your answers. Irabeth nods without saying a word. Oh my god, there's one more topic. I'm so tired of talking to people. I must be persistent. I must be persistent. I want to kill something. Tell me about the Eagle Watch. It was a small order, created to fight not only the demons, but also the enemy within. To maintain the purity of the Paladin ranks, prevent heresy, and identify spies. And it failed miserably at that. The Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth infiltrated it and formed their nest within its ranks. After the Queen entrusted me with leading the order, Anivia and I practically built it from scratch. We got rid of the dead weight, people who weren't committed. We organized ways to transmit messages and orders safely. We introduced reliable ciphers. We found tacit allies around the city, from Crusader orders to street beggars. This was my personal crusade, to purge the city of the Templars who had infested it. I thought I was winning. I could feel it. We were so close to driving the cultists out of Kenabris, but Irabeth frowns. It's hard to admit. Those successes didn't count for much once the demons entered the city. I think it's the opposite. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a headquarters at the Defender's Heart. The cultists would have served up the city on a platter to demons. The lines on Irabeth's forehead soften. Yes, that's true. It's good we achieved something. Thank you. I have to go now. Go. May Iomade keep you safe. Loot. It's a book. It's trash. Oh, it's about the Spinner of Nightmares. Oh, it's a book about Helor and the Spinner of Nightmares. Okay. We're done with... Oh, right, there's people to talk to back here. Ah, loot. Loot. Loot, why? Don't join them in flustering me. It's unfair.
Oh my god, there's still stuff to do. I gotta talk to this guy and this guy. Then I gotta go down there. And I talk to a guy in there. And I gotta open this barrel and grab this stuff. Ah, it's been an hour of nonstop talking to people. Ah! Holy mother of God, this game is long. Alright. A young man in well-worn traveling clothes and a wooden symbol of Aristotle on his chest is efficiently cutting a linen robe to strips to use as bandages. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing out some tune about red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath. He raises his warm, chestnut-colored eyes to you. Just a minute, I'm rebooting. Just a minute. Ah, you can't do that to me, that's so unfair. Ah, okay, anyway. Whew. She sells seashells by the seashore. Seashells, hold on. Toy boat. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. Red butter baby bumpers. I don't remember that one, actually. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending those of us with talent whose talents lie off the battlefield. I'm Jurna, servant of Aristotle. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power on me. As yet, I'm sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say, have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. Are you from around here? Not ads! No! No, I was just passing through Kenabris. I was sailing down the old man of ours, the Great Sullen River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I just happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say that I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chili Creek, where's that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest, and no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, and no one to give their dead a dignified burial. And now the world wound's a stone throw away. So I'll be setting off. Well, different voice, don't like it. So I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my god and my people. Once we've held Kenabris, I'll be going there. If, by the grace of the good gods, we all survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find the village here, on the bank of the river. I'm honestly getting a little worn down. I'm probably not going to be on for more than another half hour. I'm supposed to be on until 8, which is, like, an hour and 45 minutes, but I don't see it happening. I'm gonna be real. The priest marks Chili Creek on your map. Aren't you, a young and inexperienced cleric, afraid to go to the border of the World Wound? I won't lie, I am afraid. But what can I do? Those villagers are simple people like you and me. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That's exactly the kind of life I want. To do something simple, but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me, like elves and some other races do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100. Why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed most, even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous. I could use the help of the cleric. You want to abandon your request to join me? Chernow makes a helpless gesture. Eris still knows I'd be glad to help you, but it's no use. My spells are depleted, and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe I'm cutting up for bandages? It's the second to last one. Okay, I have to go. May Eris still watch over you. At least that guy didn't have a billion things to say. I'm gonna be honest, Loot, this is such a tight-knit little chat, I just need someone to blast bots. Like, straight up, you could absolutely be a mod. In fact, you know what, Loot? Heck with it. My moderation team is small, but mighty. And now you are a member of it. Enjoy! Okay. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, his eyes closed. He is pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in blood-stained bandage. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes, but even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. TJ doesn't want a mod, so we don't make him. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, "I am Forn Autumn Haze, at your service." His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no sign of pain or fear in his gray eyes. "Do you need help?" After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. "Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them." "Who are you?" "My name is Forn Autumn Haze. I come here from Kyonin because I am a hunter, and all minions of evil are my quarry. I won't say more than that, if you don't mind. We are strangers and of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than is necessary." "Who wounded you?" "A sinner and an accomplice to demons. The quarry I am hunting in this inhospitable place." "I am Petal the Brave. You can trust me. I might be able to help you." After a brief pause, Forn says, "It would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who's your quarry here in Mendev?" "I was hunting a fugitive, a Deskerite by the name of Kaelissa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch her up in Kenabris, and I wounded her. Then the demons appeared from the city and engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters." He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only a compassionate sorrow. "I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time." He purses his lips. "There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared for next when we meet. I wish to aid in your hunt." Thorn covers his eyes wearily. "I thank you, but this is my mission. I'm used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help, but if you happen to meet Kaelissa, take caution. She's turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that. It is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point." "Huh, what does that sound like to you, Loot and Rarity? An elf with dark blue skin, red eyes, and fangs. Apparently, I need a knowledge of fucking 26 to get to know what that is. If I roll a nat 20 with Sela, I find out, but if not, nope." Oh my god! Sela rolled a nat 20. Her skin is dark, her hair preternaturally white. Her eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which, to my dismay, I've come to know from experience. But bright light causes her kind pain.
I used such an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash, and she cried out as I stabbed her.
Guys, you know this. It's one of the most popular races in all of fantasy D&D stuff. It appears that this woman is a drow. Her race is also known as dark or cavern elves. They are rarely seen on the surface, so it is surprising to encounter her here. You have to roll a 26 to know what a drow is in this game. A 26. I'd like to know more about you.
I won't hold anything back. Not who I am, not why I made my way here, or who it is that I'm pursuing.
Tell me more about yourself.
Other peoples tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For them, I am one of a long line of warriors in Kionin, who, since his youth, has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. For them, I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. But I am an elf, and for me, my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born, and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken, by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, by the things I find so intolerable that the mere sight of them, my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus, to tell you who I am would require many days and much candor, which is more than you or I have at our disposal.
Why did you choose to be a hunter of evil?
Because I am the son of a noble and a proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, but no one dares doubt our honor. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligations to oppose evil, if we surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence.
Remind me, who's this quarry that brought you to Mendov?
I was hunting a fugitive, a Descarite by the name of Calissa, blah blah blah, I've said that before.
Refresh my memory on her again?
Blah 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 blah, I've told you this dialogue before.
I have no more questions.
As you wish.
Perception of 20. I think Kalissa might be a drow. Failed.
A drow? Unlikely. It's more plausible that her dark surface has left a brand similar to the one that twisted in the entire cursed drow race. A coincidence, I would think.
I have to go.
Good fortune to you.
Okay, I am exhausted from just doing dialogue, and there's 2 more zones of dialogue to go. Guys, we're gonna do more dialogue next time. This is just an audiobook now. I tricked you. This isn't a video game. You're just reading my audiobook. Oh, my wolf has to come. So, yeah, I'm gonna save here. And we are going to transition to, anything else. Let's see if there's anyone worth raiding out to before I go, okay? Where's the raid menu? There we go. Let's see. Anybody I follow that would be fun to raid? Oh, this guy's, like, super pretentious. Let's raid him. He's only got, like, 25 people. Let's raid this guy. Alright, everyone. See you on the other side. Raid is starting. This guy, like, used to make videos about Elder Scrolls lore, and now he just does fun stuff, occasionally. Everyone, thank you for joining the stream. See you next time.